Okay, I think we're ready to start. So, hello everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on Mailbutler's new AI-powered feature Smart Assistant. People are still joining, but we will just start now. So I'm Tobias, I'm the CEO and co-founder of Mailbutler, and next to me you can see James, our content marketing manager. We, and especially our development team, we worked very hard the last months to get the early access version of our Smart Assistant ready for you. And now the Smart Assistant is finally available for all of you, and we can't wait to get your feedback. If you have any questions during the webinar, please simply use the chat window here, and we will collect all the questions and try to answer all of them at the end of this presentation. We are also going to record the full webinar, and you will receive it via email within the next days, so you can always rewatch it if needed. Before we talk about our Smart Assistant and its feature set, let's briefly talk about artificial intelligence in general. So the definition of artificial intelligence is that artificial intelligence is a simulation of human intelligence by computer systems. Our new Smart Assistant feature is using one of the most powerful AIs on the market. You might already heard about the company OpenAI, which you see the logo on this slide. And OpenAI is the company behind the very popular service ChatGPT. So this powerful AI allows our email assistant to understand the context of emails and to generate human-like email responses. And this power enables us to develop all kinds of different inbox features for you. Next, let's quickly talk about the benefits and limitations of AI. There's so many different benefits of AI, and there will be even more and more in the near future because the development of AI is so fast at the moment. And in general, you can say that AI is increasing your efficiency by saving a lot of time, also improving your accuracy, and saving your costs by automating processes. But besides all of these benefits, it's also important to mention that there are still limitations for AI at the moment. The first limitation is that AI can't understand all the nuances of human language and communication. So AI often actually fails to understand sarcasm or irony, for example. Another limitation of AI is that AI is not capable of using creativity and emotions in decision making. This means AI technology can't come up actually with original solutions to problems. It's simply not possible at the moment. But most importantly, AI technologies can sometimes produce completely correct sounding answers, which are completely wrong. So it's very important for us that you are aware of these kind of limitations. So whenever you're using our Smart Assistant, you always need to double check the emails before sending them out. So, and as the name says, Smart Assistant, it's acting as an assistant in your inbox. It will not replace you, and especially it will not replace your expert knowledge. Now let's come to the interesting part of the webinar about our Smart Assistant actually. So the current version of the Smart Assistant, which is the first version of the Smart Assistant, comes with 6 sub-features, which you can see all listed here. So there is a feature to compose a full email or to respond to an email in a few clicks. There is a feature to summarize very long emails for you or to improve your writing when you decide to write the email by yourself. And there's a feature to find contact information or potential tasks inside your email. So, but let's see these features in action. James will now give you a live demo of all these Smart Assistant features. He's going to use Apple Mail, and it will look when you're using Outlook or Gmail, it will look exactly the same because the Smart Assistant is sitting in the Mailbutler sidebar. So thank you, James, for taking over, and let's enjoy the live demo now.
Thanks, Tobias. So yeah, as Tobias mentioned, this is Apple Mail, but it will look the same in Gmail and Outlook. The process will be the same. So the first thing you'll need to do is open up the Mailbutler sidebar with this button up here. And as you can see, the Smart Assistant's already here. But before you will see that, you'll need to head down to the cog and open up Account and Preferences. And then from there, in the General tab up here in the right, you'll see, do you want to get early access to future features? So then you can just quickly enable early access, and then you'll have the Smart Assistant in your sidebar as well. You probably have to shut Apple Mail or your email client and then reopen it for this to take effect. And the other thing that you might have to do initially is head down to the Privacy tab, and then here there's a question, do you want to grant Mailbutler access to your email's content? And you'll have to allow access here, which maybe that sounds a little bit scary, but we at Mailbutler never actually access or store or read any of your emails. And the only emails which the Smart Assistant will be able to access will be the ones that you use the Smart Assistant on specifically. So after you've done that and reopened your client, then you'll see the Smart Assistant in the sidebar here. And as Tobias mentioned, there are 6 main features. So I'll just go through each of those. So the first is Smart Compose. So if you open up a new Compose window, and I'm just going to write an email to Tobias, and over here you'll see the Compose button. If you click on that, a small field opens up and you can give in some short input keywords and some stylistic keywords. So I'm just going to write organize meeting for Thursday, get Tobias to send documents first. And then after you've done that, click the Compose button. And after a few moments, the Smart Assistant will write an email for you in the sidebar. From there, you can then insert it into the email. And as Tobias said, it's really important to make sure that you read what the Smart Assistant's written, make sure that it's all correct and that it's done everything correctly. So that's Smart Compose to begin with. If I then head back into the inbox, I've got an email here from Tobias asking me to attend a meeting on Thursday at 11 o'clock. And in the sidebar, you can see again that the Smart Assistant has a reply function. So this can automatically write a response to your email, so you don't have to do it. If you click on the drop down, you can reply positively or negatively. So in this case, accepting the meeting or saying that I can't attend. So just to give you an example, I'll click on negatively. And again, after a couple of moments, the Smart Assistant will write an email which should say, unfortunately, I won't be able to meet this Thursday. I'm sorry for the inconvenience. Then again, you can click Open Draft, make sure that you read the email to make sure it's correct, and then you can make any edits you need to, but you don't have to actually spend the time to formulate the email yourself. So those are the first 2 features. Then in my drafts, I've written an email here which has some spelling mistakes and some grammatical errors. And the next feature of the Smart Assistant is the Smart Improve function. So if you have an email and you're not sure whether you've made some mistakes, you can click on Improve, again in the sidebar in the Compose window. And from there, you can see that the Smart Assistant corrects the email and all of the mistakes that I've made have been completely corrected. And then you can simply replace the text in the email and send it off as you normally would. Then there's 3 more features. So the first one is if I head back to the inbox and go to the email which Tobias sent me, there's the summarize tool. So you click on this and the Smart Assistant gives you a short summary of the content of your email, meaning you don't have to even really scan emails yourself. You can just click summarize. And then from here, you can even create a Mailbutler note from that. You just click create note and you can see the Smart Assistant summary of this message is right here, saved automatically. And you can do a similar thing for tasks. So if you click on to-dos, Smart Assistant finds whatever to-dos it thinks exist from this message. And from here, you can then pick the ones that you want to keep and get rid of the ones you don't. And you can see here, for example, the first one, the title is sort of meet again on Thursday at 11, and then the task title itself is 00. That's a small mistake. This is something that all AI will make small mistakes like this, which is why it's really important to make sure that you look and see exactly which tasks are the ones that you need to do. So from there, you can just click create task, and then Mailbutler tasks are created. You can click on the tasks and do everything that you would normally be able to do with them. And on top of that, the final feature is the contact info feature. This does a similar thing to the to-dos, the task finder feature. You click it and it will find any and all relevant contact information from the person who sent you this email. So you can see here that it's grabbed information from the Mailbutler signature, email signature, which Tobias has included. And again, just like the task finder feature, say you don't need to remember the address of your recipient, you can simply click it away, and then you can save the info, and that won't be saved, but everything else will. That will be saved as a Mailbutler contact, and then you can just go and find that. And so those are the 6 core features of the smart assistant. Then there's just one more thing to mention, which, as you've seen, there are a couple of small mistakes that the AI makes occasionally when you're finding tasks, for example. And we really, really welcome any and all feedback to the feature. It is still in early access. So aside from the potential mistakes that the AI makes, there may also be some bugs or other imperfections. So if you head back into account and preferences, under the general tab, you can provide feedback directly here. So if you click on this, it brings you to a type form from us, and you can write in any and all feedback. But of course, you can also just send a message to our support team, get in contact with us directly if you'd like to. And that's it. And I'll pass back over to Tobias.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So these are the 6 which I just showed you. So it can write emails for you so you don't have to, and also respond to them. And you can even choose whether to respond positively or negatively if the person who sent you an email has asked you a question, for example. It can quickly summarize emails for you, so you don't have to even read your messages anymore, really. It can improve any spelling mistakes or grammatical errors that you've made, and it can also find contact information and tasks from your messages in just a couple of seconds.
Yeah. And while using it, you can also provide feedback by requesting features or telling us how we could even further improve it so it's better fitting into your workflow, because we are always developing our features together with the user base who are actually using it. So we are developing it for you guys. Yeah. Now it's the time to go through the questions. Let's quickly switch to the Q&A. So Tiffany was so nice to collect all the questions you had in this document. So let's start. So how do I sign up for the early access to the smart assistant? James showed it already during the demo. All you need to do is to go to your Mailbutler account and preferences, and there in the general tab, there's a toggle to enable the early access. It's also important to note you can disable, of course, the smart assistant as well at any time. So there's a toggle, you can enable it or disable it when you think it's not working for you, then you can always disable it, of course. Next question is about the pricing. Will the smart assistant be a free add-on or a paid add-on? It will be a paid add-on. So there is not a free option of it, but the pricing of the smart assistant is not ready yet. We're currently working on it. So there's no info I can provide you about the pricing at the moment, unfortunately. Next question is about the language. Will the assistant be available in French? Yes. Short answer, because the AI can detect the language of the email. So if your input is in French, for example, the AI recognizes it and responds accordingly in the same language, which is awesome, actually. Can this help with managing an overwhelm of junk emails? Very good questions. This is unfortunately not possible at the moment. But we will definitely add this to our list of feature requests. So whenever you have a feature request, again, feel free to send us an email or provide this through the feedback form. Will the smart assistant learn the composer typical style, tone when composing emails or drafting responses? The first version of the smart assistant is not using a per user AI, so it will not learn from your writing style. We already have it as a future idea of it, but it recognizes the writing style, for example, when you respond to an email. So it's partly working, I would say. When you choose replace email, it adds the email instead of replacing it. Is this something still invalid? Yes. As we said, this is the early access version. To be honest, in the beta version, I think this is already fixed, which is not public yet. In 2 to 3 weeks, there will be a new version of the smart assistant with many, many bug fixes. But still feel free to report all kind of bug fixes.
Yeah, this next one, they're only having 4 options rather than 6. In the sidebar in your inbox window, you won't have the compose or improve buttons because there's nothing to improve and you can't compose. So to see the compose button, you'll have to be in a compose window and then you'll be able to compose from there. And if you're then in your compose window in a draft, for example, that's where you'll see the improve button as well. And then in the main in your main inbox window, you'll see reply, tasks, contacts, and summarize.
Yeah. So will the AI update as ChatGPT is updated? Yes. Will we eventually have to pay extra for this feature? So it's about pricing again. As I said before, we don't have any information about the pricing yet. Do the Mailbutler contacts sync with contacts on Mac? Yeah, this is not related to Smart Assistant at all, but to our contacts feature. And you can import contacts of your Mac to the Mailbutler assistant, Mailbutler contacts feature. Any way to select the language on the fly? Yes, it's always adjusted. When you respond, for example, when you ask the assistant to reply to a German email, you will automatically receive a German reply without changing anything. And if you ask for a reply to an English email, the reply will be automatically in English. So there's actually no setting to change the language or anything like that. It's automatically done in the background. Yeah. Are there any other questions? Maybe I can open also the chat. But definitely James and we will stay for another few minutes here, and you can ask us any kind of questions. Let's wait a second if there are any questions coming in now.
Somebody has just said that the message received was in French, but the proposed response was in English. I just tried it in my inbox with a German message, and the reply that the smart assistant gave me was in German. So that's possibly something that we need to talk to the development team about.
Yeah. Sometimes when the message is very short, it's hard for the artificial intelligence to directly recognize it. Yeah. Because the artificial intelligence will receive a mix of English and French input. Yeah. The last question, is this off of JetGPT 4? We are using the JetGPT 3 at the moment because 4 is still kind of in beta, the API. But as soon as it is out of beta, we will always use the latest AI of OpenAI. Yeah.
I think we missed one before about whether it will help with filing. I imagine this means inbox management.
Filing. We don't have such a feature at the moment. I think it's the same like spam detection. Would be a nice feature request. Yeah, because that's also possible with AI. Yeah. Good. So as I said before, James and I, we will definitely stay a bit longer. There's another question. But for the rest, if you want to leave, thank you all for attending our webinar. You can, of course, always reach out to us if you have any kind of question or feedback. And simply send us an email actually to support@mailbutler.io or to reply to one of our emails you received in the past from us. So there will be always someone getting back to you. And yeah, we can't wait to hear your feedback. Thanks you for joining and have a nice day. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Are there more questions? Let's have a look. So there's a support question. I just updated to the newest version of my Mac Mini and it says Mailbutler is not compatible. I think you need to download the latest version of Mailbutler. If it's still not working, please get in touch with our support team. Yeah. Will it refine over time? Will the answers be refined over time based on how suggestions, sorry, are edited by me is one question. Not at the moment, because on purpose, we don't read what you're writing. So we are not accessing your emails when you compose an email or when you even edit the email you got back from the assistant. It's a privacy protection from our side. Yeah. Can AI learn customized email for technology or machinery? I don't fully understand the last question, to be honest. Do you understand this one, James?
No, not 100% either.
Yeah. So whoever wrote this email, please provide more context. Then, Kara, won't that limit how useful the function is, not being able to refine over time? Yes, I agree. There's always a trade-off between privacy and functionality. It would be very easy actually for us to take all your emails or asking you to get access to all of your emails, put them into an AI and let the AI learn from it. But we believe that your emails include very sensitive informations. And that's why we don't want to do that. Yeah. Some email is for special area like CNC hospital. Can AI study the professional area and reply?
I think the question is basically, will it be able to learn specific terminology for different industries?
Yeah,
Which I imagine as it's based on chat GPT, it will have the capability to be able to respond correctly as long as OpenAI software has allowed it to learn about like those words.
Yeah, actually, it's very likely that it will adjust the email because it knows it's about a hospital, CNC or whatever. It's not just giving you generic emails. It's really considers the industry you're working in, the context of the email, and then adjust the reply. It's also very important to mention that whenever you're asking the AI to compose an email for you, even when you provide always the same input, there will be always a different reply because the AI is constantly learning, not based on your emails, but in general. And so whenever you just used it, the AI is already smarter like a few seconds later. Yeah. So there's no same email, even if you have the same input. You're welcome, Tony.
At least when you sign up for Mailbutler, you don't write which industry you're in. But we do regular surveys about our users and which industries they're in.
Maybe some tips and tricks for especially when you use the Smart Compose feature where you actually put in the information you would like the email about. As it's important to provide as much details as possible. For example, you could write, I'm writing to the boss of company XY, asking them for an interview about XY magazine or for XY magazine, and asking them to schedule a call or calling them back. So the AI actually knows, okay, talking to which person, working for which company, who I am, for which magazine I'm working, and then you get like a full email including all these details with even extra context. Yeah. Good. I think we can end here now. Again, thank you all for joining. We will end this meeting now here, and feel free to get in touch with us. As I said before, we are developing this tool for you, so provide feedback. Yeah. And big thank you to you, James and Tiffany, for organizing this webinar. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, just a reminder that if you want to rewatch the demo, you'll get a recording of this webinar within the next couple of days.
Okay. Thank you very much. Have a nice
Thank
day.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.